Welcome back to our channel, where we share updates and untold stories about Catherine, Princess of Wales, and her royal family. Today, we bring you some significant news. King Charles's daring decision over Catherine's royal role shocked Camilla. An insider source has stated that King Charles made a stunning announcement when he assigned Princess Catherine to an important position at a recent royal engagement. Camilla was taken aback by this decision, according to the source. During this time of transition, King Charles is signaling the beginning of a new era as the Princess of Wales takes the spotlight. A modest but seismic revolution in the British monarchy took place amid the glittering splendor of the Buckingham Palace ballroom. This transition took place under the weight of centuries of tradition. King Charles III performed a move that was so momentous that it is being hailed by insiders as a defining point of his reign. This act took place at a high-stakes royal dinner that was given in July 2025 in honor of French President Emmanuel Macron. A now famous half-joking proclamation that has electrified palace hallways was prompted by the fact that he entrusted Catherine, the Princess of Wales, with a vital diplomatic function. He said, "She will succeed me." The Princess of Wales rose to make the primary diplomatic toast of the evening, which is a task that is historically and almost entirely reserved for the monarch who is now in power. This event was seen by a large number of foreign dignitaries and experienced courtiers. This unique deed was not only a ceremonial flourish, rather it was a premeditated and significant statement about the construction of the House of Windsor's future architecture. This action has been regarded as both a tribute to the princess's talents and a significant component of the king's vision for a contemporary and robust monarchy. It positioned the princess not just as a potential future queen consort, but also as a major diplomatic force in her own right. The ramifications of that evening, which saw President Macron depart, obviously pleased, and the king beaming with parental pride, are still being dissected through the eyes of royal insiders and diplomatic sources. The event, which was effective in easing the tension that had been present during a diplomatic visit, has sparked discussion about a formal enlargement of the princess's responsibilities, which may be defined in a new royal document, with the possibility of becoming formalized. As the monarchy navigates the difficult geopolitical terrain of the 21st century, it seems that the king has recognized his most powerful asset in the poised and more important Princess of Wales. This is a significant development for the United Kingdom. This is the tale of a single evening that has the potential to redraw the map of royal duty for future generations, or perhaps generations to come. The banquet a performance space for diplomacy and a test of one's mettle. From the very beginning, the state visit that President Macron was scheduled to make was laden with diplomatic difficulties. As the atmosphere was described by a source from the Foreign Office as cordial but cautious, it was set against the backdrop of ongoing trade negotiations following Brexit and different approaches to European security. Logistical hiccups earlier in the day, including a change to the schedule at the last minute, had not done much to alleviate the underlying strain. The state dinner then was more than a show of pomp and ceremony. It was the key point when goodwill might be either recovered or lost. When the guests gathered in the enormous ballroom, the seating arrangement was the only thing that communicated the message clearly. The Princess of Wales was seated to the right of President Macron, a position that is considered to be of the utmost honor and strategic significance. King Charles was seated to the left of President Macron. This purposeful positioning, which was highlighted by royal watchers on social media sites like X, was the first hint that the evening would stray from the norm that had been established. The fact that Catherine is standing close to President Macron is not just a coincidence. A message that was extensively shared on social media made the observation that this is Charles showing the world the future face of the monarchy. At a state dinner, the monarch is traditionally responsible for delivering the keynote address and issuing the toast. This serves to establish the official tone for bilateral ties. It was a direct conversation between the heads of state of two different countries, and it is a moment that is rich in history. There was complete silence in the room when it came time for the toasts to be made. It was not King Charles, however, who became the first person to get up and address the assembly. Instead, the Princess of Wales stepped to the lectern after receiving a slight and supportive sign from her father-in-law after she had moved there. There was a noticeable sense of astonishment among those who attended. Despite the fact that they were used to the flawless choreography of royal ceremonies, even experienced courtiers exchanged quietly surprised looks with one another. The princess seemed to be quite composed as she wore a stunning sapphire blue gown, which was a color that was considered as a tribute to both the British royal standard and the French tricolor. The speech that she delivered after that was a brilliant example of contemporary diplomacy. Today, our two countries face a multitude of more complex threats emanating from multiple directions. She started her voice plain and firm, reflecting a sentiment that the king himself has often stated. These threats are coming from a variety of different directions. It is in our capacity as neighbors, friends, and allies that we confront them together. There is no way to escape these problems. There is no stronghold that can shield us from them. Instead, the solution may be found in the power of our partnership, which is a connection that is strengthened by a common past and a shared vision for the future. She referred to the Entente Cordiale not as a historical relic, but rather as a living, breathing commitment that had to be cultivated by each new generation. She deftly transitioned from the shared sacrifices that were made during previous battles to the modern partnerships that are being made in the fields of science, art, and technology. In order to demonstrate a grasp of detail that went well beyond ceremonial clichés, she made a reference to a recent Anglo-French art show that was held at the Tate Modern and commended cooperative endeavors in green energy. One of the attendees, a senior French official, said that her comments were perfectly pitched, warm, yet substantive, respectful of history, but focused firmly on the future. President Macron, who is renowned for his emotive and often intense demeanor, was very interested in the conversation. As she made a reference to the spirited but friendly rivalry that exists between French and British youngsters, he leaned forward, listened closely, nodded his head in accord, and smiled. Following the conclusion of her toast in which she raised her glass, "To President Macron, to the people of France, and to the enduring friendship that unites us," the applause was swift and enormous. His pride was evident as he led the applause, including King Charles. It was during the joyous moments that followed that he was overheard uttering the comment that would come to characterize the evening. "She replaces me from now on," he allegedly added with a big grin while leaning towards a trusted assistant. He went on to say, "And she is far better at it." Although the statement was made in jest, the sincerity of the feeling that was being conveyed was not lost on anybody. Protecting the summit through Catherine's skillful intervention. Given the challenging political environment that prevailed throughout the visit, the princess's success at the dinner has taken on an even greater significance. A hard question from a British journalist about continuing trade frictions over agricultural exports had caused President Macron to seem slightly embarrassed earlier that day at a joint news conference. The question was about the lingering tensions between the two countries. As soon as the president started his formal and rather defensive answer, the atmosphere in the room became more strained. It was at that moment that the Princess of Wales, who was playing a supporting part at the time, displayed the subtle but strong impact that has become her signature. A person who was there in the room said that she made a hushed statement while leaning towards the First Lady Brigitte Macron and pointing to a collection of historical images that was displayed in the hall. Her intervention, which was not intended at the president, had the effect of temporarily relieving the tension that had been building up. During a small lull a few seconds later, she cleverly guided a neighboring discussion into common cultural links, notably highlighting her family's affection for the French countryside. She did this by saying that her family had a liking for the countryside. There was an instantaneous change in the atmosphere. The rigorous formality of the press event became more relaxed and the scope of the debate expanded. After some time had passed and the formal delegations went on to their subsequent engagement, King Charles gave his daughter-in-law a knowing and admiring gaze. An unspoken acknowledgement of her expertise, it was a recognition that her emotional intelligence was just as significant as any formal treaty in terms of its ability to facilitate diplomatic relations. According to a source inside the Élysée Palace, President Macron was subsequently claimed to have informed his advisors, "The princess has a gift." This information was obtained from the source. Her words carry a great deal of weight, and she is also aware of the influence that her presence carries. Her presence instills a feeling of tranquility and steadiness. One of the things that makes her so powerful is her ability to break through formality while maintaining a real friendliness. During the pre-banquet event, onlookers saw that she engaged President Macron in a serious talk about youth education and early childhood development. This is a cause that the princess is passionate about, and it is also a subject that both he and Mrs. Macron are very interested in. The intense concentration that he had seemed to lessen as they talked cooperative plans for providing assistance to children who were vulnerable, and he was spotted chuckling at a light-hearted comment that she made about the different approaches to nursery school. An advisor to the royal family said that she has a unique ability to disarm individuals by making them feel as if they are seen and heard. This is not a presentation that has been rehearsed. Rather, it is an inherent feature of her character. Bringing compassion to a room that is full of political agendas is what she does. An analysis on the development of a royal majesty. Catherine's performance on the French state visit was not a sudden occurrence. Rather, it was the culmination of more than a decade of consistent and purposeful improvement. From her early years in the limelight of the royal family, during which she was subjected to intense scrutiny and the patronizing label, "Weighty Katie," she has painstakingly carved out a position for herself that is both contemporary and extremely respectful of history. The path she has traveled has been marked by a calm resolve. During the time when the public was concentrating on her dress choices, she was also accumulating a substantial portfolio of humanitarian activity. In particular, her long-term effort on early childhood development, which she calls "shaping us," has garnered her worldwide renown. Her pioneering work in the fields of mental health and addiction rehabilitation has also gained her a lot of attention. These are not glitzy ribbon-cutting patronages. Rather, they represent profound commitments to complicated social concerns that are guided by research. Through the establishment of this foundation, she has been prepared for the stage of diplomacy. Officials within the royal family have disclosed that King Charles has been providing her with personal guidance in the art of statecraft for a number of years. According to reports, this learning experience has included private briefings with top individuals from the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, in-depth examinations of geopolitical challenges, and instruction in the subtle procedures of international diplomacy. From the very beginning, the king recognized her potential, confessed a former courtier who had worked for the king. He admires her intelligence, her diligence, and her remarkable ability to connect with people from all walks of life, from world leaders to members of the general public, he said. She has been under his watchful eye, and he has been getting her ready for this. The function of a senior royal lady has undergone a distinctive transformation as a result of her style. She blends the emotional accessibility and public compassion that were evocative of her late mother-in-law, Diana, Princess of Wales, with the unwavering sense of duty and discipline that characterized Queen Elizabeth II. In addition to this, she adds a contemporary intellect that is totally her own, which is a strategic intelligence. The performance that she gave at the dinner was not a fluke. It was the product of painstaking preparation, but she managed to make it seem as if it was completely easy, which is a credit to her innate elegance. The formalization of the future. Through the new royal doctrine. There have been persistent rumors circulating inside the palace that King Charles is contemplating a move to formalize the princess's heightened diplomatic status. These rumors have been fueled by the tremendous success of the Macron visit. According to several sources, an enlarged list of obligations for the Princess of Wales is now being outlined in either a whole new royal document or a modification to the protocols that are already in place. It is speculated that such a document could give her the authority to lead certain international engagements on behalf of the Crown, to spearhead major cultural and diplomatic exchanges, and even to act as a special envoy in certain areas of negotiation, such as those related to her charitable interests. However, the specifics of this document are being kept under wraps. A source added, "This is not about replacing anyone," in response to fears that such a move may reduce the extent to which other senior royals are involved in their respective jobs. To put it another way, it is about acknowledging Catherine's exceptional capabilities and making use of them for the sake of the nation and the monarchy. Our focus should be on maximizing our capabilities. King Charles has long expressed his desire to establish a monarchy that is more efficient, less expensive, and more influential, and this method is exactly in keeping with his long-standing goal. Through the concentration of his efforts on a core group of senior working royals, he intends to show the worth of the institution in the 21st century. It is impossible to deny that the Prince and Princess of Wales are the most important component of this concept. As a result of her skyrocketing popularity all around the world and her established history of accomplishments, the princess stands at the very center of that future. It is possible to see the visit of Macron as a well-planned and executed test, run a method of gauging the responses of both the public and the diplomatic community to a more prominent position for her. It would seem that the move was a huge success, judging by the reaction that was received on social media. For many hours, the hashtag Dinguerie Princess Catherine was trending on social media, and fans were hailing her as a diplomatic star and the queen in waiting. One person tweeted a video of her toast with the message, "This is leadership," possessing poise, intelligence, and a passion for life. Without a doubt, the future of the monarchy is in good hands. Despite the fact that some of the claims made about her acquiring a rare new title on the internet were overstated, they are indicative of the public's tangible eagerness and willingness to see her transition into a more distinguished position. An alliance at the helm of the ship. The personal interactions between members of the royal family were as striking, despite the fact that the evening was filled with grandeur and the weight of geopolitical issues. With a face that was a potent combination of pride and wonder, Prince William, who was sitting nearby, observed his wife as she commanded the room. According to a person close to the pair, "He has always known she is extraordinary," the insider added. On the other hand, the sight of her in that official function, leading on the international stage with such self-assurance and elegance, left a lasting impression on him. Rather than only seeing her as his companion, he views her as the most ardent supporter of the monarchy. At the moment that the ovation for her toast began to die down, the pair shared a glance that was both quick and profound across the table. A gaze that expressed a mutual understanding and a tacit validation of their alliance was all that was needed. It was as if the glance was saying, "We're in this together." Their power and attraction are built on the foundation of this oneness, which serves as the backbone. In their capacity as heirs to the throne, they function as a team, with her diplomatic dexterity serving as a counterpoint to his calm and comforting presence. This was a time that had a great deal of significance for the princess. She reportedly felt the great weight of the king's confidence, according to those who were close to her. She was aware of what those words meant, a friend said. During the toast, cameras captured a quick, sad moment in which she looked towards the king, who gave her a tiny, almost imperceptible gesture of support. To be given that platform in front of President Macron and the world was the ultimate signal that Charles believes in her completely, she shared with the audience. an intimate conversation took place between a father-in-law and his daughter-in-law, a relationship that had been cultivated over the course of many years of mutual respect and love. The fact that she was a mother was always in the forefront of her consciousness, even while she was experiencing a moment of victory. Aides have verified that after the main supper was over, while guests were mingling, the princess withdrew for a brief period of time in order to make a secret phone call to her house in order to check on her children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis. An assistant made the observation, "That is typical of her. One moment she may be leading a diplomatic toast, and the next she may be checking on schoolwork and determining when it is time for bed." The fact that she is able to connect with people and maintain a healthy equilibrium between her enormous public responsibilities and her personal family life is exactly what makes her so well-liked and helpful. The future, a connection between different countries. The victory that Catherine achieved at the state dinner raises questions about the future of the monarchy and the role that it will play in the globe. The repercussions are quite astonishing. In particular, the closing remarks that President Macron reportedly spoke to King Charles struck a chord with the audience. According to a French diplomatic source, he was cited as stating, "Your daughter-in-law is a bridge between our nations. She is a source of both stability and hope." Because of this support from a prominent individual in the globe, it seems that the princess is now seen not just as a figurehead of the royal family, but also as a significant role in the future of international relations. It is possible that her capacity to cultivate goodwill may prove to be of great use in negotiating the difficulties of a globe that has been impacted by Brexit, where soft power and cultural diplomacy are more important than they have ever been. Commentators on royal affairs have hypothesized that we are on the verge of entering a new age of royal diplomacy, which will be headed by the Princess of Wales. This might result in her taking the lead on high-profile summits, developing new cultural and scientific relationships, and using her platform to drive global projects that correspond with her core work. One example of this would be early years development, which is a sector in which her expertise is now acknowledged on a worldwide scale. An analyst made the following observation. Imagine the Princess of Wales at the forefront of a new joint education program between the United Kingdom and France, inspired by her Shaping Us campaign. These are no longer only abstract concepts. Given her performance, these are real-world opportunities that have been opened up. The seeds that she is sowing will eventually bear fruit in the form of stronger relationships and a monarchy that is more influential. While King Charles continues to construct his reign, it is abundantly evident that he is consciously and purposefully setting the foundation for his respective heirs. An advantage that he has is the Princess of Wales, who is capable of connecting with a new generation, commanding the respect of international leaders, and exemplifying the ideals of service and responsibility that must characterize a contemporary monarchy. More than merely a successful diplomatic function, the evening of the French state dinner will be remembered as a memorable occasion throughout history. It was the moment when the training wheels came off, the moment when a future queen took the stage and indicated that she was prepared to take charge. Even though the words, "She will succeed me," were delivered by the king with a grin on his face, they held the weight of a prophecy. The monarchy has found its future in Catherine, Princess of Wales. It is a future that seems to be poised, compassionate, and incredibly powerful. Thank you for watching the video. Please let us know your thoughts, and goodbye for now.